Domni, you're all Catholics now. Sorry, welcome to another episode of A Dangerous Podcast.
Indeed.
I am your host, Ian Alley Seals. I'm here with my fearless co-host compatriots. I'm here with John, Nick, Jules, and Jason. How you doing, gentlemen?
Great.
Doing great, man.
So I'm going to give some points. Does anyone know the reference that I just made right at the beginning of this podcast? Anybody? Raise your hands. I said, Domni, you're all Catholics now. And
Monty Python flagellators.
That's Jules, Fire Sign Theater. Thank you very much. Fire Sign Theater, a experimental, non sequitur, surrealist radio comedy troupe from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. I don't know, just watching the movie that we're going to be talking about tonight, it kind of made me think of that. Just a little bit. But I'm ahead of myself. So we are all here. And we're ready to get going. Jules, how you doing, man?
All right. I'm a little dumbstruck by the movie.
Yeah, Nick really bought it this week, didn't he?
So can I just kind of introduce the movie a little bit?
Please do, John. Please do.
Yeah, we're getting into it.
So, I knew Nick. You give Nick a task of coming up with a bad movie. He's gonna knock it out of the fucking park. He did not disappoint, right?
John, he didn't even sweat.
He didn't even try. He just pulled this right out of his ass.
Newgate. Boom.
Not only that, he got fancy with it. He was like, "Yeah, all right, yeah, I could do that." Not only that, I'm gonna do a movie I'm gonna do a recent movie. I'm gonna do a movie so recent. It came out pretty much 20 minutes. It came out like a month and a half ago. And it's so bad that you could watch it for free right now, just with Amazon Prime. You know, it's like
everyone realizes that this is the only time that I am absolutely certain the filmmaker is going to watch this podcast.
Oh, no.
It's the only time. Listen, the filmmaker is going to see Knights of Newgate on the internet.
That's true, right? He Googles it every day.
And I would not.
He Googles it every day the way I Google the price of Dogecoin.
There you go. So right now, director W.J. Carter, writer Sidney Carter, and Will Carter, the family Carter. If you are watching the podcast right now, we are not going to be kind, but you may message us whenever you'd like during this time.
You know what? I'm going to say to the family Carter, great job. Great job.
See, you're going to say this right now, and John's not going to give you any shit.
Yeah.
John's not going to be stepping to you like, oh, Nick showed us the film that he really loved. He really, really loved it. He's going to give me all sorts of shit tonight. Anything positive I say. But when Nick says it, John's going to go, good point, Nick. Really.
I am a little bit Nick's bitch. I am endeared to him the way you're endeared to anything in the universe of science fiction.
No
matter how bad it is, if it's in the universe, it even partially sniffs like science fiction. You're endeared by it.
Now, how many people actually made it through the entire thing?
I did.
Jason says no. For the record, for those of you who are listening at home, all of us raised our hand except Jason, who just stood there dumbfounded. Jason, do you care to respond?
I watched it, and I may have lost focus a couple of times, so I watched some parts of it again.
Well, I'm glad because, guys, I swear to you, can we all be in agreement? I'm generally terrible at my job. And my job in this podcast, besides kind of wrangling you herd of cats together, is to recap the movie. I don't know how that organically became my job, but it did. And I'm not good at this. I don't take notes. I'm not ready. There's not been one podcast that I've successfully done this. And this will be the worst outside of Neil Breen, because I did watch this whole movie.
It's funny you mentioned that because I kind of thought like the graphics and special effects were like the Neil Breen of fantasy.
No, I was thinking about how like Neil Breen movies, in terms of like production value consistency, they're miles beyond this. I mean, this is just a CD-ROM game from 1995.
Yup, this is
like
late
an hour and a half.
2000s
God,
graphics.
you're jumping into the thing that I was going to quiz you guys on. Really quickly. But like before we do that, Nick, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. I watched the movie. This was the first time I saw it.
Yep.
Okay.
Never seen the movie before, but I knew it had that air.
The
to
je
it.
ne sais quoi.
You could just feel it. You could sense it. Like it was like instinctual, right?
And I mean, like this movie was kind of like we had like a knockoff Gene Simmons. We had Donuts McCloud.
Thank you. That's a great. I've been trying to figure out a nickname for this character. I was going to say Chubby Ramirez.
No,
Chubby Ramirez.
no, because
we're all making Highlander jokes here, right?
He's using the actual Highlander mock sword.
He is. I know.
Yeah. Using the actual Highlander mock sword, and I was just like, they're really doing this with the immortal. I guess there's no fitness plan. Okay, but you get immortalized, you stay that way forever.
Yeah.
You know, a little cardio.
All right, we're gonna get into this, and I don't mean to body shame this actor too much. That's
Too much. It's
but
gonna be
anyway,
tough.
I'd like to note that I have under 3 times at this point attempted to have us do an intro, and we just keep coming back to this movie. I'm not going to fight that anymore after I say, Jason, how you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there.
All right. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And
Look, I'm
lastly,
breathing. Okay. What about you, dude? How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. It's been a week. It's been a week and a half, but I'm alive. I'm alive. And lastly, John, how you doing, man?
Good. You know what I'm sick of?
What's that?
Fucking Elon Musk and his effect on the altcoin, Bitcoin, Dogecoin.
Oh, God.
He's fucking with me. It's like
me too. And I've actually managed, even though I've been caught up in that, I managed to stay off of that for a few days.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what actually fixes that?
What?
You just work for your money.
I cannot walk.
Just
I
crush
cannot
my
walk
dreams,
down.
but-
I can't walk down a hallway without someone screaming at me, "Buy crypto."
But
I just can't.
Look, let me just explain. Like, what I'm so upset about is that, like, whatever. It's an investment. It goes up, it goes down. I'm talking specifically about Dogecoin. What pisses me off is that I think Elon Musk figured out, a couple weeks ago, when he just mentions it, Dogecoin, when he tweets anything about Dogecoin, it has an effect. Or he mentions it on Saturday Night Live and it plummeted, and then so he's making a point of mentioning Dogecoin or Bitcoin or something every day. And I was talking to some of you before the show. So like a week ago, Tesla announced that they're taking Bitcoin. You can buy a Tesla with Bitcoin. Great. Today, like, no shit, like a week later, he's saying we are no longer taking Bitcoin because of the environmental impact that it costs. It's like, this is just a week. It's like, what's changed in a week, you asshole? It's like, why are you doing this? He's doing this just to fuck with people.
So then why do I want to be basing my life savings on the whims of Elon Musk?
Because he'll, I guess he goes both ways. He'll, if he's too hard on it, the next day he's going to be like, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. And yeah, pretty soon Walmart's going to take Bitcoin and it'll shoot up. But that's when you got to sell.
Yeah, Pito Arroyo just said to everyone, I'm wondering if we've all seen Zardoz, 1974.
Zardoz!
I've not seen Zardoz.
I feel like I've seen parts of it, but that's about it.
So maybe Maybe at some
think I
point it'll enter our queue. I don't know, John. Everybody, like, I'm not saying that people don't know something I don't, or that I'm just this deaf person. I just kind of feel like when someone is yelling at me on the street, buy crypto, what that means is I should have bought crypto 6 years ago.
No.
And now is the absolute wrong time to buy crypto.
It's not the absolute wrong time.
No.
It's just a matter of, like, first off, when it comes to, like, as everybody calls it, Dogecoin, I actually call it dog e-coin.
Okay.
Because that's how I do things.
That is how he does.
Well, I mean, they hardly. When was the last time you said it out loud? I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean,
Yeah.
This is something you talk nonsense about on the internet, via text. So, like, I don't know how you're supposed to say it.
Now, all right, getting back to the movie.
Yes.
Getting back to the movie.
Oh, by the way, Gunnar,
Dialogue.
hold on. Gunarso just said, crypto is just gambling with more steps.
I have a whole argument why it's not gambling, but we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, people say that. Like, gamblers in Vegas say that too. Okay, Nick, before you jump right in, I would like to lay out a framework for this film because listen. My point earlier is I did watch this whole damn movie, and after every 5 minutes, I couldn't tell you what I just watched. Like, it's not like it was incoherent. It's just like it was so forgettable at every moment that I'm not going to do a great job.
It was also incoherent.
Yeah.
It was incoherent, and it was distracting because it's mostly in green screen with awful computer animation.
Oh, really, John? Really?
Yeah.
Because
You know what? You also know it's not a comedy, right? Did you notice that part? How it's not a comedy? Don't get on me.
Oh,
I'm locked and loaded.
John opened the door that I was planning to open for him,
And I shut it before he even tried it.
So, if you've been listening to this podcast from the beginning, you know that most of us here, excluding the great Nick, are involved in making a film. And this film is called The Stolen Mile. It is a action adventure car racing comedy. All right? And it is plagued by problems, as any film does, but ours specifically. And Jules and I mean, we were editing up till midnight last night, and it is going well. But this has been a lot of work. It's been years in the process. We've had tons of problems. And John is just like, fucking green screen it. Green screen everything. Next movie, green screen everything you possibly can. And what I'm going to say right now, John, this is that. This is the future that you've been pushing.
All right, wait. Okay.
And not only that, this is better than we can do. This is better.
Now I'm going to put this in
do it as good as they did.
I'm going to put this in a context where we live in a world where some of us have written this script. They'll be nameless for now. With cars we don't have access to. I mean, we're literally reverting to like jumping on cars and just begging them to be in our movie. And like, hey, what are you doing at 6 a.m. on a Sunday? That's really the alternative to some green screen.
But here's the thing that I think is a key point that makes the movie what it is. One, dialogue. There is so much,
right, and fast talking dialogue.
Yeah. There's these long pauses. There are long pauses where you don't have any dialogue, and then when you do have the dialogue, it's like, what?
Yeah.
Two.
But
no, wait, he's not the.
Oh, and
speaking of long pauses,
camera work.
Yeah.
The camera work on this was mainly confined to like a 10-foot square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't. no panning, no particular photo shots. It's just like boom, right there. Okay, don't get off the mark.
Yeah.
Right.
And for those of you who've been waiting with bated breath to even know what the hell we're talking about, so Knights of Newgate is a action-adventure film, a supernatural action-adventure kind of fantasy set in the modern era, though there's flashbacks to medieval times. And it is done entirely on green screen. There is not one location.
That impressed me. Just the fact, like, I thought they copied a video game.
Yeah.
And they're dressing like the video game character.
Yeah.
I thought that too.
It does involve real actors for about 80% of the film.
Yes.
So not always. Everything in it, anything that they are not holding in their hand, obviously, is CGI. And I was going to ask the group this because my problem here is I do not play video games. I have not regularly played video games since the original Nintendo Entertainment System, with occasional dangerous liaisons with some VR games and the old Star Wars TIE Fighter game. That's what I've got with video games. And
do you know why you don't play video games?
Why is that?
You don't smoke pot.
It's a good point. Good point. And so already, I'm not of this world, but I knew right away that what this movie is an entire movie of video game cutscenes. That's what it is. But bad video game cutscenes. Really, really bad. But
I remember in the 90s there were video game cutscenes where it was CGI with like a person, live action person in it.
Yeah.
I mean, this makes Tron, the original, look like high art.
It does.
That's not fair because Tron is
that is what it does. I mean, we're talking about a movie that's like, what, Tron, what is that? 40 years, 30 years old?
Oh, God, the original one? Yeah. We're talking
what's the
early 80s, right?
84 maybe?
84?
What's it? No, 83 maybe?
Yeah, and that was like 99% CGI. But they still did it.
Yeah.
They had the camera work, they had the dialogue, they had the action in CGI. And there's some of that CGI from Tron was really kind of like, hey, this is cutting edge. We've got the computer that can do this with the 3D motion.
Tron was 82.
82.
So very early. I'll tell you what was the weirdest thing about this movie for me, in that the animation was like, there's some live actors, and then there would be, and at the beginning of the movie, it was just like the animated characters were kind of in the background, and then later they would be like, there'd be 5 people, and 2 of them would be animated, like really bad animated people. And then they started getting into things like, there's a live action character, and then when she's walking down the stairs for no reason, she turns into a shitty animated character just to walk down the stairs.
It's because they don't have green. They don't have green stairs. Yeah, they don't have green stairs.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's you're right. It's a technical reason like that. They're like, well, we can't make stairs for her, so we'll have to have a shitty animated version of her. And another hysterical part was, there's a big heavyset guy, overweight old dude, and then he's up on a balcony and he turns into an animated character, and then he leaps off the thing, just like flips in the air, attacks somebody with a sword.
Donuts McCloud.
Chubby Ramirez.
But I want to, if we can, I want to go around everyone real quick, and I just want to take a vote. Like, what was the worst thing? Was the movie the worst thing, or was the music the worst thing? Because I will argue day and night that the music was.
There were like a few
times, this movie was.
A few times that I turned the volume down on account of the music.
God.
Yeah.
It was some annoying asshole with a $500 synthesizer just, like trying to like, all right.
I'm
Now to
convinced.
a suspenseful,
But all right,
I'm convinced that the composer. This movie was an hour and a half long, and I'm convinced that the composer spent an hour and a half putting it together. That's what it sounds like.
I do have a point about the music, but I want to get there in the recap. Before we move on, though, Pito Royo just made a post. I feel a little called out by this. He says, but Ian, you forgot about the time at Bard when we played NES games on his Dreamcast.
Ooh.
All right, I'm called out, so I was at least playing video games.
You can play NES games on a Dreamcast? Man, the Dreamcast was a very underrated
That
console.
was a versatile system right there. So, okay, everyone, here we go. Here's what I got. We open the film with an unbelievably obnoxious amount of exposition, which is what the film is. It's a voiceover narration of bad times at medieval times. It's like, oh, back in medieval times, it was terrible. The evil place in England was Newgate Prison, which was run by a man named Tyburn. And Tyburn was evil, and he had some keys to hell, and he wanted to unleash hell, and he was sacrificing innocent people, and then some good people tried to stop him. And that's when you realize what you're in for, because there's a little bit where I'm like, is this real? Is any of this live action? Oh, no. All of it is bad CGI, and bad beyond what we're normally used to. When in today's day and age, when someone mentions bad CGI, what you're basically saying is it kind of doesn't look real or doesn't have weight or anything. What you guys described earlier is correct. This is the CGI of a CD-ROM game from 2002. What's the era, would you say?
I'd give you a 98. 1998, 99.
Can we just, really quickly, can we just acknowledge this trivia I got up on the screen? The second one.
Golden.
I don't want to think about it. I
Never
don't
got
wanna
it
think about
back.
All right, what does it say?
Sidney Carter, who this film is made by, I believe he's the director, sold his home to finance this shitty movie.
Yeah, guys, and this is the point.
And that's balls right there. And that's why I say great job.
So you know what? This is why he's not going to see our podcast, is because him and his family are under a bridge right now.
Yeah, just picture his life in a shambles where he's like living outside or in a van down by the river or whatever.
He's in a tent on Skid Row. No doubt about it.
Everybody, and this is you, John. You always make fun of me, and you essentially come at me with like, I don't have any balls, or I hate every movie, or I love every movie. No, but the point is, like, Jules and I last night were up till midnight editing our movie and painstakingly going frame by frame to try to create some sort of comedic tempo in one scene. I think we spent 3 hours on a minute and a half of footage to get it just as perfect as we can. And I know that these motherfuckers did the same thing. To do this movie.
But it's also a matter of what are you going to do to the movie when this is your original production?
Yeah.
You're CGIing the entire production. People have to like basically stand on marks and look for X's.
Yep.
It's solely based on like dialogue and acting.
Yeah.
And it's kind of missing both.
It doesn't really hit it.
So, I mean, the thing is like, and it's just human nature. When people do bad work, the crowd gets angry at you. When you're a professional athlete and you suck, they don't just, ignore you. They hate you, and that's like your own hometown, like team, the audience, they hate you. And, I think that's kind of what pushes greatness along. I think it's fair. I think it's like, if you're going to get into making movies, don't do it because it's your dream. You have to do it to do something great And if you're in the middle of an ego trip, just to say you're making a movie, that's not good enough. You have to do something that people are going to enjoy, and don't expect people to, to like it if they're not going to like it. It's just not going to happen.
But the potential for this movie was so. The potential was there.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. Maybe, not with these writers. And no, it wasn't. There's nothing appealing. There's no element in this movie at all that's redeemable.
I looked it up. This did start as a comedy script, apparently.
That would make more sense.
And then they made it into an action adventure.
Yeah,
but they also implied that there was like the actors made up their own dialogue. They were saying that like it was a good thing, like essentially like the actors were bringing their characters.
You know what? I want this movie to do. I want this movie to trip across the divide between bad movie to a drinking game cult classic.
All right. That might be its one redeemable value. Is like, you and a bunch of guys and girls and
we're gonna watch
having some drinks and watching this movie. That is what Neil Breen to me is all about. The next party I have with a bunch of people and then we're drinking, I'm whipping out a Neil Breen movie, like when we go inside or whatever, and it's like that would be fantastic. Here,
just start playing it, people. If you're subscribing to this, go on. It's free if you have an Amazon Prime account.
It's not free in the fact that you'll ruin. It's not free in the fact that you're going to lose 80.
Who at Amazon just like sat down in their meetings, figuring out what they're going to include in their lineup, and decided this movie not only has 1.5 stars on IMDb, it has 1 star on Amazon.
Yeah, but we can buy it for like $15. So
I almost want to now. Like, John, I really, really wish you hadn't thrown that data point up there. I really wish I hadn't heard that this guy mortgaged his house for that.
I know. That's why I'm like, this guy is terrible.
He put you make something like this, you deserve to be homeless. I'm sorry for him, and I'm sorry for his kid. There's people out there, it's not their fault that they're homeless. All right? It's his fault that he's fucking homeless. I mean, he wrote this fucking script. I mean, he saw what this movie was going to be before he actually made it, and then made the decision to fucking mortgage his house to do it. There's nobody more deserving to be homeless.
John, did you learn nothing of the spirit of forgiveness in Saving Christmas?
I know you made me Catholic.
From Kirk Cameron. Did you learn nothing?
Listen.
We got to watch it again. You got to watch it again.
There's more. He's got more movies. Wait till we get to Fireproof.
Watching more fucking Kirk Cameron. I already threw my line in the sand. So,
and somebody might give you a choice between another Kirk Cameron movie and the Fantastic Four.
I will choose the Fantastic Four next time. I jumped off that ledge.
I just wanted to break you. That's all I did.
You did. That's fine. So now I'm gonna lightning speed this film so then we can just rip it apart some more. So, bad guy in the past, sacrificing people, wanted to open hell. His arch enemy, good guy, fights for him, and then the key, which is 2 bad sculpted hands, fly apart. Okay, now we're in the present. That guy, the hero, who was a chubby man. He's a chubby man. I hate body shaming.
He's not the hero.
He's not the hero. He was in the past.
Addison is the hero.
He is, so this guy's, he's in a mental institution saying, no, we have to stop Tyburn. We have to stop Tyburn. And like, he's trying to escape, everything like that. We then get introduced to our heroic trio. You have Addison, who is a smooth, like Thomas Crown Affair meets the Nick Cage from National Treasure. He's a thief. He's a suave thief. And his brother, who's a skinnier version of him, like a young man who they portray as having lots of charisma. They have infiltrated a party where Addison...
This is Addison on the screen, if anyone's watching.
He kind of looks like a second-rate Colin Firth. Kind of like dollar store Colin Firth.
Yeah, he's a typical white guy lead actor when you can't afford, a good one.
Yeah. So they are infiltrating this socialite's party, and this socialite, and there they meet Addison's ex-wife, who is actually a rather delightful woman. I mean, I hate to be like a few films in where we're just like, oh, the girl was great. Like the actress, like Demi Moore was great in Nothing But Trouble, and so on and so forth. I think she was kind of the best part of it. She had a little bit of charisma. She met her mark. I don't know. I thought she was okay.
We haven't had a more like useless woman character
Well,
in a
also,
movie like that. I mean, in terms of how, she really was mostly, like pointedly useless throughout the film.
Yeah,
Which was like in a very peculiar way. I'm not going to maintain that Hollywood films do a good job of having well-rounded and good female characters, because that's obviously not true. But in comparison to whatever this is, because I mean, she's mostly just being carried along by the plot, and she's mostly like, I don't know, she's like an archaeologist, but she doesn't do much of anything.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
the MacGuffin.
And
is the MacGuffin of the film.
She also delivers a majority of the lines.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going to go with this. I'm not saying the character, and I haven't been saying any names, and I never will after this point. But the Chubby Ramirez or Donuts McCloud is named Morgan. The villain is named Tyberg. The heroine is Christina. And what do we got? Who are
actually, a little bit after this scene, go to the exchange. There's the sourpuss with the machine gun.
Oh yeah, no, I'm right about it. Guys, I'm serious, guys. I'm looking on IMDb, and I don't see the main character. Like, we have Lester, he's the brother, but where's the main character?
He was rubbed off the map for sucking so much.
He's not, guys, I swear he's not on here.
Christopher Fenwick? Or...
No, not Christopher Fenwick is Donuts McCloud.
Yeah.
Are you guys on IMDb? Can you find Addison? He's not in it. They don't have the main character. Oh, no. He's in rest of cast.
Wow.
Like at the end where they normally talk about the extras, that's where they have Robert Reina playing Addison Rossini.
Wow.
He's in rest. What are they doing here? They wrote their own IMDb. Did he not want to be listed with the main cast? Is that what happened?
That might be it.
He figured that if his name showed up there, it would ruin his career when someone went to try to look him up to cast him in something else.
Like, he's the lead of the film.
I don't think he's that proud of it, though. I mean, I don't sometimes being the lead in a film, depending on the film, isn't to your benefit.
Yeah. So okay.
Can't Alan Smithy that one.
Oh, yeah. Guys, I'm moving through here. So Addison infiltrates the party. And he kind of sneaks in while his brother is pickpocketing keys off of the host. And then we have his harrowing thievery scene. And I'm going to go to the music right here where, I don't care about the rest of the music in this film. In the heist scene, one of the two major heist scenes of the film where Addison is pulling an Ethan Hunt, rappelling off things and doing big leaps and everything, all CGI, completely CGI. They have this kind of clinking piano, ding, 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 kind of thing, and which then builds to music. And it's like they are so trying to be like Thomas Crown Affair or something right here, and I just would not stand it. So
they're doing a very bad job at it, right?
Yeah, so his heist, he finds the key, one of these bronze hands, and he is trying to escape, but like the socialite finds out, he sees a hole in the wall in the bathroom where he had burrowed in, and then he turns on the security system, and giant metal doors are slamming, and Addison then kind of gets out of there. There's a firefight with goons. The goons are CGI. That was the thing that I didn't understand. I understand that, like, in stunts, you needed to have CGI. Every location is CGI. But half of the human people are CGI. Like, they didn't get...
Just random people at the party.
Yeah.
Just random people. It's a group of human actors, and then there's just weird,
like,
CGI people.
If you have a henchman in this film, they generally are computer generated. You could have just gotten a guy.
They could have just made a CGI movie.
What was that, Jason?
Yeah,
They could have just made a CGI movie. I mean,
it could have been animated. They could have just animated the whole damn film. They really did. Why did they need the people?
Well, all right.
Nick?
Because you just don't do that.
Okay. So he escapes. They end up on a rooftop. The socialite with his guards. Do we ever find out who this socialite is? Did that ever come up?
No.
He kind of just disappears from the film 20 minutes later.
He disappears.
Yeah. And so he's got his goons. They're pointing guns at Addison. Addison has kind of a sexy tussle with his ex-wife, who's working for the socialite, and then he jumps off the roof and falls into the helicopter that his brother is piloting, and he gets
No. That's piloting by a random dude.
Oh, it's just random dude.
Just rando.
Okay, fine. So here is what we then find. They've stolen this amulet, the key, and they are going to give it to a mob boss who has hired them to steal it. The mob boss, everybody with me? The mob boss hired them to steal the key and will be paying them money for the key. Addison sends his brother in to do the handoff. Already this like mobster is sketchy, even for mobster. He just comes in glowering like, and he takes the key, and then he has the briefcase of money, but then he's like, I've got something else for you, Lester. And he pulls out a straight razor. He's going to murder Lester.
It's the smallest razor ever.
This movie ends right here.
There she is.
Yeah.
Scroll that back to Grumpy with a gun.
Yeah. But everybody, this movie plot-wise ends right here if the mob boss just pays him the money. There's no more movie. Because at this point, because he does this, Addison comes in, puts a gun to his head. Now we have a chase scene, and they're running away with the key and everything like that. All of that's for nothing if the mob boss just does what he hired him, fulfills the job, pays him the $1 million and sends him on his way. The movie's over. Why does the mob boss rough him up?
Because he's working for a cheap English lord.
Oh God.
You know?
This isn't just indicative of this movie. This happens in lots of the movies we've watched, where if people just do what they said they were going to do, everyone comes out the better for it. In this movie, not humanity, because hell would have opened up. But the mob bosses would have accomplished their task if they just paid the fucking money.
I gotta play this scene. I know it's probably.
We're not gonna be able to, but please do it. Yeah.
But I mean, it's such a good example of the bad CGI here. I just got to play it.
Yeah, John, we can't see it. I mean, we still focus on actually doing it. All right. So,
all right, yeah. Let's move on.
So Addison's hanging out with his brother Lester, and he says, all right, listen, here's your half of the money. You got to get out of town now. Just get out of town. Here's money to set up your new life and your new identity. He goes, and then immediately, 20 minutes later, he gets a video call from the mob boss who says, we have your brother, and we're going to kill him unless you do a job for us. We need you to break into the British Museum and steal this thing, give it to us, and we'll give you your brother back. Okay. Addison's got no choice. He loves his brother, so now it's a whole national treasure kind of thing. And this is where like they can't even pull that off. They're like, we're gonna send you the blueprints of the British Museum, and then you can rob it. Where's our sequence of planning? I mean, I haven't watched enough of these fucking movies that there's a pattern to it. There's a kind of
this guy's ex Special Forces Navy SEAL, whatever it may be, SAS. He goes in, you give him a map and a matchstick, he'll come back with the mission accomplished. Okay.
But like, where's our scene? I don't doubt that, Nick, that this man is the best of the best. They tell us that numerous times. Actually, you know what? No, credit where credit's due. This isn't like Steven Seagal. I was expecting every 5 minutes for characters to be going, "Oh, Addison, I've heard of you. You're the best." I was expecting them to do that, and they didn't do that. So, Family Carter, you didn't do that. You didn't have everyone just talk. You didn't Neil Breen it. Credit where credit's due. But where's our scene where he goes?
That Beretta never ran out of bullets.
Never did run out of bullets. But here's my point, everybody. In any other movie like this, National Treasure, you would have had a scene of Addison sitting down at a table with the plans going, all right, there are guards stationed here, 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 and you can't get in through the roof because of this. And if you try to do the unlock this door, all the alarms are coming out, and then it's flooded. But we never have that.
No, because then it would be a heist movie.
Well, never mind if it's a heist movie. This is just like in terms of like dramatic tension. In terms of like dramatic tension, it's just a matter of don't be like, if you don't break into the British Museum by dawn, we're going to kill your brother, and then just cut to him inside of the British Museum. You don't even need to. It doesn't need. You don't even need to do the. He doesn't need to put a team together. He doesn't need to do the exits. He just literally has to do anything to get into the British Museum because he's literally the woman is just walking through the museum and sees it. And that's
wait. Doesn't he do some like Ethan Hunt aerial acrobatics?
Yeah, but what did that have to do with anything? I'm just saying, like, it didn't have. I mean, he didn't have to go to the top of the British Telecom Tower and jump off. That didn't help anything. And all I know is that he just showed up in the museum.
He's there in the museum. Okay. And this is one thing I've got to say. I will give them credit for this. And that they don't get any points for it, but they do get credit. They do not shy away from stunts. They're all fake. They're all CGI. But like, if you and I are making a movie that have a lot of digital effects, Jules, and one of the things that we say is whenever there's something complicated, it's, ooh, if we try to CGI that, it'll look really bad. Yeah. Let's find a way around this. There is not a stunt this movie shies away from. All right, well, I mean, I guess we can have him jump off the tower and fly through the blades of a helicopter and then crash through the glass and then grab an awning and flip and then land on a duck and slide on the duck. I mean, they go for it. I remember the day when we were writing The Stolen Mile, and Jules, you said, we really got to have the villain climb on the hood of the car and jump onto another car. And I'm like, you're ridiculous and this is nonsense and we can never do this. We did end up doing it. But you had to drag me kicking and screaming into that one stunt. They're like, well, can he jump across 7 cars? It's CGI. What the fuck? We'll have him do whatever we want. They do not shy away from a stunt.
No, it comes right at you.
Yeah.
Comes right at you.
So he ends up in there. Meanwhile, Caitlin, is that her name? Kristen. She's there. She's gone, seen hell or something. She's climbed out there. And then but then she comes back up. She went there with her boss, the socialite, who we will never see again. He then steals the other part of the key. Him and Kristen go to sell it to the mob boss. They get Lester back, and then Donuts McCloud shows up and fights all of them. And so they're all fighting, and they lose the key, and they end up in a what was the car? Was that a Porsche?
I don't know. Was the car the girl that he was supposed to be dating?
Yeah, and they end up in the car. The car falls down a cliff, and then they're fine. Okay, I think I'm with it, everybody. Sorry, I'm losing steam, and I'm really depressed. All right, here. All right, but I'm back. I have a job to do, and I'm going to do it.
Back.
Here we go. That's when we meet. Tubby. That's I've never body shamed this much in my life. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah, Chubby Ramirez, and the joke I'm making is Sean Connery's character, Juan Sanchez Villalobos Reyes from The Highlander, which we'll get to in a minute. So Chubby Ramirez reveals that he was a member of the Knights Templar. He and his old buddy, the Kurgan, Tyburn, this is how he describes it. They opened a treasure vault, and in it there was the cup of Christ. But that's not very important. What was
that's a side. That's a side.
But anyway,
I happen to have the Holy Grail. Oh,
Ganarso just says, "Oh my God, guys!
Wow.
The Duke made a Kickstarter to fund finishing the film. $1,681 raised out of a total ask of $28,000 and change. The Kickstarter was canceled."
Can you imagine, and so that I believe is when, he didn't make, he didn't reach his goal. That's when he mortgaged his house.
Ganarso, now the puzzle pieces are coming together, and I wish I didn't know them.
Yeah.
I've done Kickstarters.
But, I don't know if any of you guys ever watch Shark Tank. I used to watch that a little bit. And it's some of these guys have really bad ideas, and they just don't know when to stop. You always tell people, you got to go and work hard and everything and never quit. That's a bad idea on certain visions. And this is one of them. It's this guy probably lost his house to make this movie. And that's just,
oh God. Oh, John, I got my energy back. I got my.
When we say this guy, we're talking about the guy that's here on the right of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Is that him?
That's him.
That's Sidney. So he didn't direct this movie. I mean, I was just looking up. He's a writer and executive producer. Somebody with the same last name called W.J. Carter directed this.
Christopher Fenwick.
One is their father and son, I think.
Are they? Okay.
Oh, man.
Bring up that trivia.
This whole family was financially ruined by this endeavor.
I don't think this just came out. You're making a judgment, and this movie is
Yes, but the copyright date on it is 2007.
So they've been working on this was their dream. Their family's dream. Okay. Please let me. Okay.
Right.
We find out that Tubby.
Let's get back to crushing their dream.
Yeah. So Tubby McLeod was. They broke into this treasure vault. They saw the Cup of Christ. They went, "That's cool, but what about that little trinket from Spencer's gift? What about these hands that are together that we got at Party City? What about that?" So they take that and they split it apart, and each of them take a half of it. And then I guess Tyburn got the evil half. And so a demon possessed him, and then he became evil. And that's what's happened. And now if Tyburn gets the key, Tyburn will be released. And by the way, they both drank from the cup of Christ, and so now they're immortal. Okay, cool. Gotcha. And at this point now, it is and Tyburn has to kill every connection he has to humanity. So he was murdering all of his family members. And Christina.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Call her Karen. It doesn't matter what your name
His
is.
long
Hey, I gotta
lost
stop real
descendant.
quick because Ganarso's being pretty funny about the Kickstarter thing. Why don't you read it? Yeah.
You're making fine. For a donation of £350, you could submit a photo to be digitally manipulated to be a victim killed by a monster. That's cool. For a donation of £1,000, you could get your company's name, logo, or picture featured in a billboard. There was one actual backer. I'm glad there was.
These are real things. Okay, these are real things, Ganarso.
I've done things like this in my comic books. People got drawn into my comic books before on a Kickstarter. I just feel horrible. Okay. And so here's the deal. Tyburn wants to kill Chrissy. Wants to kill his great grandniece or whatever, whoever she is, relative.
I mean, don't we all though?
All of us. like
You show of hands.
Really, the whole job of the film now is don't let this dude kill this hot chick. That's the film. And then it turns out the mobster really wanted the treasure of the Knights Templar. And he goes in the temple. He lets Tyburn out. Tyburn comes in and he's this really bad CGI demon. And he sucks the life out of the mobster. Mobster dies, and then the mobster's henchman, you remember the one with the dull razor blade, goes like, "My lord, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I will serve you." And he's like, "Good. We have work to do." All right. At that point, the entire movie is bad monsters. Tyburn summons up some demons, and those demons keep chasing Addison, Lester, Chrissy, and Chubby Ramirez. They're running all over London. They're fighting bad monsters, and it's about, what are we going to say, about 35 minutes of this at least?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
I'm
lot.
sure there's stuff going on.
It goes a while.
Yeah, I'm sure there's stuff going on. And
Yeah, it was another one of the classic A Dangerous Podcast movies where it's an hour in, and I'm like, well, it's got to be almost over now, and I check, and there's a half an hour left.
Yep.
There's literally nothing left to happen in the plot.
Right.
There's there's like nothing left, and there's a half an hour somehow.
Okay. I'm going to say this right now. Another Ganarso quote that's going to depress me more. At the time of the Kickstarter, they had already spent £586,204.
You imagine? How much is that in dollars? Jules?
Almost $1 million at the time, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my
Almost at least. How?
Yeah, wait a minute.
I know, on what?
If
Like,
they're
all they
spending
need is
$1
a
million,
computer.
why are they doing this CGI? Where are they where are they spending their money? What is their money going to? Craft services?
I think their money went to, I think a lot of money had to go to some, like their budget's going to go to lots of different things. They had to put a good amount of it to rendering farm and video cards and processing power, but they just didn't have the kind of budget you would need to take care of all the movie, plus get lots of really good computers for rendering and get someone who's actually good at CGI. So it looks like they just spread their budget thin.
They did not get anybody who was good at CGI. Let's just face the facts right now.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, in terms of like
do CGI.
Yeah, I thought for sure that they were using like a video game engine or something so that they could wouldn't even have to render the thing. Because
It's,
I mean, it looks
it's
that
very
crude.
clear they did, right.
Yeah.
I thought this was actually like what's that game that actually you can make movies in?
Unreal.
Oh, Ganarso just said, go to the Kickstarter. There's a budget breakdown chart.
I'm on it.
I don't want to see it.
Oh my
All
god.
right, John, can you look this up, and then I'm going to finish the film, and then we're just going to go wild.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So, yada, 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 monster, fight. By the way, Donuts McCloud also has a crew, like his own Knights Templar of ruffians. They all get summarily eaten by demons. They fight and they fight and they fight. And Chrissy gets
important. It's very important to point out that Chrissy gets covered in oatmeal for no reason. I don't know what.
Yeah, she falls into something and is covered.
Falls into a vat of oatmeal.
That was half the budget right there. Why did they CGI that? Of all the things, why didn't they CGI that? But okay, so they had to put that actress through this. So, all right, you're running, demon, fight, and we're gonna, John, we're gonna come to this in a minute. We're not doing it. Right. Let me get through this.
I'll take it down. I'm distracting you. I'll take it down. There you go.
All right. So, Chrissy gets captured by Tyburn. Tyburn's gonna kill Chrissy. They all go down to fight. Tyburn and Donuts McCloud have a little sword fight. They have a fight, and he doesn't kill Donuts. He says, "I'm gonna let you suffer and watch me kill your friends." And I wish Donuts just said, "They're not my friends. I met them 20 minutes ago. Do whatever you want. Just don't kill the girl." So then fight. Then Lester has a spray bottle. It was holy water, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a power washer with holy water, and he's spraying Tyburn, who's going, ah! And all they got to do is push him into hell.
Yeah.
That's what they've got to do. They got to push him in through the door into hell, close the door, and don't let the girl die. That's their job. That's all they've got to do. And the holy water runs out, and Tyburn, what's Tyburn's quip right there? It's like, "I think you're running low," or something like that. He makes some sort of joke. I don't know. I don't know. And then Tyburn's about to kill everybody, and then Chrissy gets to the edge of hell, and she says, like, "Tyburn, I'm here. Do it. Kill me. What you want to do?" And he goes, "I think I will." And then he runs at her, and then she jumps off the ledge, and then he falls, and she grabs onto the ledge so she's not falling. And then Tyburn, like, he sports demon wings, right? Am I getting this right? He sports demon wings, and then Chubby Ramirez runs and jumps on him. Their immortal battle to continue in hell, and then they close the door. There, we're done. And they run out of there. The temple, there's a temple, crumbles to dust, and now you have a scene where Lester and Addison and Chrissy, they're all debriefing. They're like, "Whoa, that was some crazy shit." If you've ever seen any of the National Treasure movies, it's how every National Treasure movie ends. You know, "Oh, that was crazy." And then Chrissy's like, "Kiss me, you lummox," or something a little more subtle than that. And then they start kissing while Lester is leafing through the Book of Darkhold, or whatever the fuck he's got there. Where did that come from?
He got it from Tyburn. Or he got it from
okay.
He got not Tyburn. He got it from Morgan.
Yeah. Donuts. He got it from Morgan, and like, guys, I really do feel bad about just making fun of his weight the whole time. I really do. So he's reading through the books, and he's like, "Hey, this address, what's here?" And then it's a bank, and you CGI through the bank, and camera's moving. You get to a doorway opens, and there's Donuts with his sword. And Nick, can you say again what sword he has?
Using the actual replica sword from the Highlander series. It's a Duncan MacLeod sword.
Yeah, guys, Nick and I wouldn't be dunking on this guy so much if they didn't literally give him the Highlander sword. And he comes out there and he's like battle scarred, and he's like, ah, and then doom, the doors close, and it's like, "To be continued," or something. Was there a "to be continued"?
No.
I don't.
Wasn't?
Oh my god.
No.
So there we go. All right, guys, give me credit. That's the fastest I've ever recapped a movie.
That's a record. Yeah. We're under an hour right now, just under.
Yeah.
Well, that's because we can't fill in any of the details.
Yeah, like, what the hell? I mean, there was a scene in one of the chase scenes. I mean, there's a scene where Chrissy and Addison have gone up into like a I don't know, like an attic or something, and there's a ladder door and a trap door, and a demon's coming up. And then you just have, I'm going to move my chair back. I know if you're listening at home, you can't see this. I'm moving my chair back, and I'm sitting here. I'm going to adjust my camera. And there's a demon coming at me, and Addison does this, and this is the acting. Oh. He just keeps repeatedly, like, moving his foot forward at a relatively slow pace, trying to connect with the animation that he assumes will be there of the demon. And I remember that scene, but other than that, everything's a fucking blur. So
the whole, like everything that gets put out. I mean, one, great job putting out a movie, guys.
yeah, like I went to film school. I've never put out a feature film. I've never done it.
I mean, every one of those people, SAG card.
Boom.
Yeah.
You guys are really looking on the bright side because there's not a lot of bright side here.
There isn't a tremendous amount.
Okay, all right. I'm going to read this. Gennarso just said, in an interview with W.J. Carter, quote, I've been programming with Python for a while, so I've developed a number of custom scripts and programs to consolidate our workflow into a steady film production factory. The hardest bit of making this film has been how desperately short-handed we are. Finishing any single shot means constantly swapping between 3D modeling, texturing, lighting, animation, dynamic animation, and simulation, green screen compositing using Primate, and then compositing the... Yes. Yeah. I'm not saying they didn't do a lot of work here. Ian, and now we're going to call me out again by saying, Ian, why are you punching down on the weight when there's so much else? It's this. He continues to say, "This movie is what happens when it's game night and the GM didn't do anything."
That's exactly right there, right? And in reading, I found the page that Gennarso. It's not exactly Kickstarter. It's a UK version of Kickstarter, but I found it when they were writing this thing in 2016 for the Kickstarter. They've been working on it for 9 fucking years.
Yeah.
That makes like the Stolen Mile seem
I know we're like
so like we're way ahead.
We're like Steven Soderbergh putting out a film every year, It's the same thing compared to
Woody Allen, yeah.
It's just like when you have a movie that's this bad, that is this low budget, the only reason it's made is because people made it themselves, because this was a homebrew project.
Yeah.
And they did it. It is not easy to make. It's not easy to make a bad film. It's not easy to make a
it's hard and it's expensive. What I learned from the page is before he was asking for money, and he didn't get a second mortgage. He sold his house.
Oh my God.
He sold his house. Then he was trying to ask for money, and he Gennarso said he didn't make any. He raised like £1,000 and he was trying to make 30 things. The actors.
Wait. No. Kickstarter doesn't give you any money if you don't.
It's not the Kickstarter. It's not Kickstarter though. It's some weird UK off-brand one.
Right.
Okay. So I'm sorry, John. You were saying?
Yeah, and the actors weren't getting paid. They were going to wait until the movie came out and made money for them to, which is like the worst plan ever. Yeah.
We never promised anyone in the Stolen Mile any money.
Well, yeah.
I know, and your props were borrowed from people, and the cars were just whoever had a car. And, you could get away with telling people there was budget. There was enough cars and people and props and production.
Yeah. There's a reason that my house is still in my name.
Yeah, right.
My wife told me we were not allowed to spend any of our money on this.
Now, here's the thing
Which is fair.
They could have done a lot to try and improve a few things on this. One, I've seen television shows where they have used the same CGI engine or similar to what they used in this movie.
Oh.
And they took advantage of things like, long pan shots till you get to the character in a close-up. Tooling around an environment that is completely like that. All of this was just camera on. And It's like, don't get outside of the markers. They could have done a lot more with what they had. But they still put out the movie.
Yeah, and I can tell you where, again, I'm fairly certain that the filmmakers are going to listen to this. I'm sorry. This is my understanding just of watching the movie and knowing how the world works. of how this movie happened. So they've had this idea for this forever. Like, this was this science fiction idea that they've had forever. And they think it's great and it will make a great movie. And again, the guy is pretty decent with computers. And at some point they say, this will cost nothing. Everything's going to be CGI. We don't need to worry about it. We can make this whole movie. We can do Hollywood level stunts. We can do everything. We can do all of this for nothing. And we'll get away with it and it'll look great. And they dig themselves into that hole. And suddenly they're making this movie and they're spending all their money on it. And oh my goodness, they never expected to spend this money on it. But now you've dumped all this money on it. And how can you quit now? That's maybe I'm projecting a little too much. Maybe am I? No, but like that's how I imagine this production happened.
So here's a picture of him and his son. And I think he mentions on on this page where he sold his fucking house. I don't know. It's like
it's like a
so wait, is that the budget? Where's the budget? So where did it go?
Part. Movies cost millions, so why only 20,000 pounds? Well, films are expensive, and this one has been no exception. We've been working on this movie for the past 9 years, and again, this is 2016. He's writing this, and that work has cost a lot of money, 600,000 pounds. It's a fantastic cast of actors who gave it time and talent. This movie all worked for a deferred fee, and all get paid once the film is released. Yeah, good luck with that. I've been working for free using equipment we already bought. So they already had the equipment. They didn't even buy the fucking equipment. They already had it.
Yeah.
Oh. So can I get the budget breakdown? I really where did the money
Are you looking for where your money went?
No, but what was this 500,000 pound figure or whatever? What was that?
I think he explained it. They started this in 2007. Fuck me. So they spent £500,000 or almost 600,000 pounds, and this is what they did with it. You can read here. Shot all the live action for the film, cut a rough edit of the green screen footage. It looks like they got a considerable amount done.
But why did it cost that much?
Place the cutout actors into the digital sets and rough rendered each shot. Fuck, man. I just don't understand the motivation behind this other than he just wants to be a guy who makes movies. I mean, I don't know this guy. Maybe he really has I'd be more endeared if, he had a real passion for the fantasy kind of genre, but I don't think I'm getting that. I think he just wants to be a guy who goes around at parties and said, I made a movie and it's, it's released in theaters. And
John, it's because he thought it was good. Listen, I've been making shitty things my whole life. I was making comic books when I was.
All right, I understand, but you like the things you create, you have a background and a passion for. I don't know if and maybe it's definitely ignorance. I don't know anything about this guy, but I'm just not seeing that. And I don't know, if you have a passion for that kind of genre, how you could make this shit. I don't know. I just don't. I'm just not seeing it.
Dang.
Right. Yeah. The old guy is Sidney Carter. The young one is his son. Right. Scroll down.
So what
I guess
else,
we won't find out.
To say, guys, what else is there to say? Okay, I will say this. I'm going to come back to Chrissy was kind of good. Not the character, the actress. She was pretty good. As in,
I thought that the villain was the most fun of all the people.
Oh, he is certainly chewing the scenery. I'm just saying, when the Carter family went to their version of the John Casablanca modeling service, and they were nice enough to direct them to some really great people that they had. Chrissy showed up. She was professional, delivered her lines, was pretty charismatic throughout the film. That's what I'm going to say. Gunarso is going to say right now, okay, from another interview, I've taken the hard route. Over the past 30 years since leaving school, I've been a roofer, artist, sculptor, musician, owned a recording studio, managed a .com, worked in VFX and game design. Each job or venture has added something to my skill set and led me practically on rails towards being a film.
Okay, so now I know a lot about this guy. You know what those career choices have told me? He's got a wife that supports him. Like, that's just what it is. It's like, yeah. So
not without a house.
He's at home raising the kids and cleaning the yard and doing and then she lets him do his art shit. And then he sold the fucking house. He's also divorced. I can tell you that too.
Oh my gosh.
He's newly divorced and he's sleeping on his son's couch.
Oh, so where do we go from here, everybody? Where do we go?
Can we find the gross for this movie?
Gunarso's really good at this. I mean, I don't want to keep throwing to him, but he's so good at this.
There's another thing I'm going to say, and I swear to this, and I mean it more than in any of the other movies we've watched. I feel bad for having watched it for free, and I am going to buy the movie. Like, family who's living under the bridge, you're getting my $15, which means what? You're getting like $50.
You're so endeared by this. Just admit. Why don't you come
I'm not,
clean?
John. I'm not. Seriously, you say this all the time. I do not like this movie, but I really feel bad for the people who made it because I'm not a soulless person like you. I wish this movie was good. I want it to be better than it is now that I know all of this. God.
You're endeared by. I mean, right. So
I am not. You think I'm getting anything other than sadness from this? I'm not.
Let me ask you this question, Ian, really quick.
Yeah, sure.
Does anybody deserve to lose their house? Because I think some people do. I think some people do. People who make this shit deserve to lose their house at the minimum. If I had it my way, he'd be in jail. I mean, he's lucky. He's getting off easy.
Oh.
In a just world, this guy would be in jail.
You heartless son of a bitch. Like, wait till what they say.
Nick would be in jail, too, for making me watch this. But, I mean...
Hey, you guys put bad movie on there. If you want something that's like, hey, not that bad... Say not that bad, Nick.
Don't scare Nick, man. Nick will fucking give it. You ask for a bad movie, he will give you a bad fucking movie.
I cannot wait till Nick's next pick, but tonight it's not his turn; it's my turn.
Oh,
but we'll get to that in a minute. Before we do, like honestly, I don't have anything more to say to this film. I feel bad for the people who made it. I feel bad for their experience. I feel bad that everyone's going to hate this movie like we do. I don't want them to go to jail. I wish there was some guy out there, some rich socialite, who just fell in love with this movie and decided to buy them a house, like out of like Willy Wonka or something like that, and just set their lives right. I wish that was the outcome of this story. I'm not that guy.
So, let me tell you something. I mean, and I come to this, I come to this conclusion as a musician. I've been up on stage, and I'll tell you, the feeling is, it's very much like making a movie. It's egotistical. You're up on stage. You invite all these people there. They're all watching you, and you think you're good enough for them to pay money to get in there and listen to you perform. I mean, there's a lot of pressure, and you have to deliver. And if you suck, you have some responsibility, and you should feel shame. I mean, I heartily believe that. I think you listen to musicians, or especially stand-up comedians, who talk about how they hone their craft. They say, go out on tour, go into those situations, and get your ass kicked. you know, until until you learn and you're so afraid of failing that you start honing your craft to where it's not about, you know, you anymore, because that's why you originally got up on stage, is for you and your ego. But now you're going to, you know, you figure out that you have to deliver for an audience. And that's what I'm feeling with this guy, where he's just, I feel a lot of the movies we watch are exercises in, you know, filling someone's ego. And it's kind of funny. But I think that's where this guy is. And I don't think he's got a great love of film or the genre. I just think he wants to be a guy who goes around and tells people he made a movie. I think he tried really hard. I think he went the extra mile, but I think he did some risky things. I mean, I don't think it's I don't admire a guy who sells his house to make a movie like this. I think it's stupid. You know, I don't, you know, I just think that's stupid. So that's just kind of where I'm at. I know I'm being kind of hard on him, but
with that, John Carrier is going to be performing at the Half Door.
But I mean, you know what I mean? It's like
$7 cover charge. Everybody, it's not.
I think there's a difference when you make art and you know, you show it to your friends and your circle and your own people. But when you're putting it out into the world and you get it on Amazon, you find your way into theaters, you have to deliver for an audience. You have to entertain them, not in a way where they need to feel bad for you. I hate that. I think that's a cop-out where the audience should feel bad for you and you kind of give
no. So, John,
yeah,
I agree with you on some of this, but some like I agree with you that we do not need to feel bad for bad artists. We do not. I agree. I'm with you on that point. And there's also a difference of, you go on stage at the Half Door and people tell you fucking suck. That's one thing. When you make this movie, you're putting your entire life on the line, which they did. And I don't respect that, but it doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel good that this movie was.
That doesn't make me feel good either. But no, I just think I think that's stupid. You know, it's like,
yes, I am with you. They should not have.
It's like, you know, go out there and sacrifice and, you know, put in all crazy hours and do all these things. Don't sacrifice your fucking livelihood.
In 2007, they could have put that £500,000 into crypto.
Right, yeah. I mean, imagine if they put that into Dogecoin, man, they'd be worth $5 billion right now.
Mm-hmm.
But John,
I make movies every year.
I just called you out and said you're full of shit. And the thing that I think you're full of shit on is you constantly say about these movies that they are all about ego. And certainly in the case of like Neil Breen, that is 100% the case. Where I'm going to say this is bullshit is with this movie specifically. I don't think it was because they're like, I want to be the guy who make a movie. No, they really thought this was a good idea. You don't do this. They literally thought this was a good movie. They enjoyed making it. And then they got in too deep. And then what do you do? What do you do?
I mean, it's just, I mean, from the writing, I just don't feel that they have like a deep background in this genre. I just think, you know, to them, right, it's a really good, you know, action movie. And it's not. I just don't, there's no real plot. It's stupid plot.
We meet at the same spot here, John.
Yeah, okay.
All of it's bad, but thinking the project you're doing is cool and wanting to see it through and wanting to make it good is different from an ego trip. They bleed, but this is not Neil Breen. And it's not whatever the hell Dead Weekend was.
Okay. So
like, that's my point. Is that
I think neither of us really know this guy. It was very apparent in Neil Breen. We're both right about that. Yeah. I'm just getting that based on the story that he wrote, I don't think he's got a deep background or understanding or appreciation of this genre. And, you know, he's kind of blind to the fact that this is a good action movie.
Well,
when
no, I think it's a
just
lot like the
clearly
way it's a lot like the way everything looked in this movie. What was weird about it was that like the like it's like the buildings were like the CGI buildings were like somebody who had like never seen a building or like seen a picture of a building, but
Yeah.
was like
You know what? They
coming up with
needed
what a
Neil
building might
Breen-
look like.
They needed Neil
in their
Breen's-
imagination.
Yeah,
Oh my
they
God.
needed
Jason,
Neil Breen's architectural skills in the building part of the movie.
Yes, that would have solved it.
Oh my God! Oh
But,
guys,
I mean,
guys,
but what I'm
Neil-
saying is
Neil Breen needs to see this movie.
he does. He does.
And
Can you imagine, like,
it'll change
using-
Neil's life.
Can you imagine him using CGI in his movies?
He's already
Right,
dabbled in it. He's already dabbled in it. Like, this will save them all. Like, we'll get the Carters and Neil Breen together. Not only like
It'll be
Neil's
this
a
mashup
billionaire.
of this
He'll pay-
super sucking thing. All right, Gennarso's got a hard on about Steven Seagal, so I'll address.
No, like Narco's calling you.
Wondering
out.
what-
So to my point about the building, where it's like they've never really, they don't know what an actual building looks like. They don't know what the story looks like. They don't know what fantasy looks like. They don't know what
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
like,
saying.
all of it is kind of just it's just kind of absent.
But
No one
this is-
involved in
it's-
that movie ever played a game of Dungeons and Dragons.
That's what, exactly. That's my point. And to me, my conclusion is because I can tell from the writing that they don't have a background in it. So he just thought he can write like a fantasy action movie and it would be good. But I don't think he
Wait a
has
sec.
a love of it. I mean, that's just my impression. I don't know anything about this guy.
I'm gonna throw a gauntlet down.
Everything I know about this guy, Gennarso copied it.
Yeah,
That's
threw
all
up
I know.
guys. This is bottom of the barrel writing, and it's not the worst writing we've seen in this podcast.
You're right. You're right
Like,
about that.
Dead
But
Weekend
this is the worst. This is the worst soundtrack we've ever had in
That's
any
a really good
Absolutely.
That's
Hands
one
down.
thing we can
Hands
all
down.
agree on here. Can we all agree on that? The
Yeah.
worst music
Yeah.
we had
I like
in
it.
any movie was.
For the record, Nick just said he kind of likes it.
Well, I also have to say that like the movie is just visually disgusting.
Nick, you're gonna put this on at Buds, aren't you?
Guys, I want to hear what Jules has to say on this.
The movie is completely visually disgusting, though. It's just like it's just an aesthetic nightmare from beginning to end. Everything just looks
It's a
horrible
slap in the face.
and just bad. I mean, oddly, like the special effects part of it is working really well in terms of like, does the angle change the right way when the
You're
camera
right.
moves and all that
No,
kind of stuff?
you're right.
All
That's a
of
good
that's
point.
fine, but everything just looks just disgusting. It's just it was a chore to just like look at. I mean,
And they do
I
some
was
hard
distracted
things.
by it. I couldn't like with my ADD. I could sometimes I just couldn't pay
I'm there
attention
with
to
you.
dialogue and plot because there was just too much flashy stuff happening in the back.
yeah.
But they did some hard things in this where,
Yeah.
you know, a live action guy is wrestling with a CGI character.
Yeah.
And it was weird
that
and
looked-
awkward, but that was brave. It's like, what? That's where you come up with 600,000 pounds. Is because they're doing shit like that.
They did a good job. Their movies in the '90s, they did a worse job of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of that exact thing of like CGI creature attacking a person. There's far worse scenes in $50 million movies.
Have you guys heard of Food Fight?
No.
The movie Food Fight. So this reminded me of that. And you know, when I was researching like bad movies, Food Fight always comes up. Where
Is that based on the video game Food Fight?
no, it's not.
The old Atari game Food Fight?
Mhm.
It's not. It's you know, it was planned to be like a you know, like a pixel kind of animation, and through a lot of budget cuts and all these other shit happening, it turned in. It's a really bad animation, and it looks just like this, if not worse. And it was just a disaster, and it's on everybody's list of like worst movies ever. Charlie Sheen, of course, is the star, but I was considering like picking that movie a few times, but yeah, never went down that road.
Gotcha. All right. So
But in conclusion about this, are we concluding with the movie, or
we're concluding. We're concluding.
Okay. In conclusion about the movie, there's In terms of like looking, I had looked around on YouTube at other like amateur films, and there were some random British people who are out in the middle of nowhere in Britain, Lord knows where, and they get together and they make movies, and they've been doing it so long, and they pay. These are not £500,000 movies. They get students to help build the sets. They get local actors.
Yeah.
Their shit is watchable.
Yeah.
It is not the best. It is not the best thing you've ever seen in your life, but it is watchable. I put it on thinking like I'm going to bail out in 5 minutes, and then it was over, and I was like, oh, look at that! I just watched the whole thing. They're good. That's all these people should have been shooting for, was exactly that sort of thing. And so I'm going to think about those people instead, so that I don't get depressed about this movie.
And good writing trumps all. Like good writing overrides like shitty visuals.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. So with that, everyone, this movie wasn't based on a video game. It was not. But it might as well have been. And so my pick for next week is I'm going to say a worse director than the Carter family.
Oh,
that is making an actual video game film. We've danced around. We've flirted with this director throughout this podcast, but we haven't consummated the relationship. It's time for us.
I know what you're doing.
You brought us Neil Breen, but it's time for us to embrace Uwe Boll.
I know what you're doing. I already know what you're doing. Go ahead.
Yep. And I'm basically, this is a video game one. So right now,
I know exactly
I had something to choose from. I had a few to choose from. Was I going to go with Blood Rain? His making of the video game Blood Rain, his film version? No, we're going to go.
That was good, wasn't it?
No, we're going to go a little deeper than that. We're going to go to a movie that I projected in a movie theater when it was there. We are going to watch House of the Dead.
House of the Dead.
Uwe Boll's House of the Dead. That's what we're doing next week, everybody.
Okay.
All right. Hey, I just want to put this one out here before we go. Knights of Newgate drinking game.
Okay.
Every time you see an unnecessarily CGI'd character, you drink.
Someone's going to die of alcohol poisoning.
Just save yourself the time and just give yourself alcohol
right now,
poisoning.
like all of Tokyo just died. They had to retroactively drink that amount.
You just
amount of
killed
alcohol,
off Tokyo.
and all
You
of our
happy?
fans in Tokyo just died right now. Thanks, Nick. Thanks a lot.
Sad. Thanks a lot. No more Tokyo.
So with that,
there goes
Nick,
Tokyo.
Nick, thank you for one of the best picks we've had so far. You did it. You did that without even flexing.
No.
Not even flexing.
And like with a sixth sense.
Yeah.
We're all born with a talent, and
Yeah. So with that, everybody, I'm your host, Ian Alley Seals. This has been another Dangerous Podcast. I'm here with my fearless co-host compatriots, John, Nick, Jules, and Jason.
Good night.
Have a good night, everybody. Take us out.
Night.
Yeah. Good night.
How do I get out?